Weight has probably been a struggle for me about the last 30 years. High school, I really didn't have issues with weight, and I also was lucky to grow up in that era where you wore really baggy clothes and that was cool. And so if you were a little chubby, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't until after high school and then giving birth to my first child that I started noticing the weight just piling on. It was subtle at first, but to give a scenario there, at the day I gave birth with my daughter, I was 145 pounds. So even through pregnancy, it wasn't an issue. But now I'm a mom and I'm trying to take care of life and not even realizing that I'm slowly getting a little bit larger. By the time I gave birth to my third child, I was over 250 pounds. And that's when the cycle started of, I have to do something, right? Like this, what do I do? And so from there, I tried everything that came out, right? Like I would do keto, I would do Atkins, I did Jenny Craig, I did Weight Watchers, I did different prescription pills. Anything that I could get my hands on, I would try. And my personality is very all or nothing. So when I did it, I was all in. Like if I'm on keto and you say 20 grams of carbs, I'm eating 20, not 21, not 22. I don't have a cheat day. I'm going to do this right for 6 months because this is it. This is the time I'm finally going to lose the weight. And I wouldn't. Like I would lose a couple pounds in the beginning and then just stall and sometimes even gain. And so then that nothing would kick in of, well, I'm just not doing anything. I need to learn to accept me as I am because nothing's working. Stop being disappointed for failing. Just accept who you are. But I never was able to do that. I have friends that are large and they're gorgeous as they are and they love their bodies, and I never loved my body. I didn't hate myself, but I was never comfortable. This wasn't what I was supposed to be. So I just continued for, gosh, probably 10 years of back and forth, and then finally just thinking there's nothing I can do. And it was very emotionally exhausting because I felt like I must not have the willpower. I must not be doing the right things even though I think I am, even though I'm tracking. And it's exhausting focusing on food all the time, whether it's good food or bad food. I was either focused on eating all the right things or being disappointed in myself for eating the wrong things. Like, well, this is why you can't lose weight. You had pizza today, Amber. And then it's like, well, I'll start again Monday. Like, let me just binge. I never binged really, but let's just eat whatever you want all weekend. Monday's a new day. And that happened for a really, really long time. When you personalize it, it was absolutely my own fault. Like there was no time during this whole cycle that I thought something was wrong with my body. It was me. Like I wasn't doing enough. I didn't try hard enough. I must not really want this. Then if you don't want this, Amber, how do you learn to accept the body you're in and be happy with it? And then the defeat from that, like how can I watch other people like really just love themselves as they are? And you're over here like, I don't want to be in pictures. I look back during those years, I don't have a lot of pictures with my family because I didn't want to be in them. It was that constant reminder of, I avoided mirrors because I knew what I looked like and didn't want to be reminded constantly. So it was emotionally and physically, obviously. I tire quickly. I had kids. Soon I had grandkids, and you're like, you need to get your life together. Like, let's figure this out, Amber. So I'd had a couple of friends that had done gastric sleeve, and I saw that the results were phenomenal. Like they were 100 pounds in a year. They looked great. They were feeling great. And I made the decision. I knew insurance wouldn't cover it. And this was probably the first time in my life. So I have 6 kids. My family work's always been priority. I'm like, I deserve to invest in myself. Like, how do I do this? I knew that it was a lot of money out of pocket, but this was finally going to be the tool. I seen all this success. If my stomach's the size of a fist, how do I not lose weight? Like, this will be a stepping tool. I did a lot of research. I understood that this wasn't just, I'm gonna have it done and the weight goes away. I'm gonna have to put a lot of work in before, after, continued. And so in December of 2019, I underwent the surgery. And unfortunately for me, that we also did go directly into 2020 at that time, right? So I had it December 2019, then 2020 we were on lockdown, but it almost made it easier for me. There wasn't a whole lot else to focus on. So I was really strict on my nutrition, getting the right things in, but I only lost 45 pounds, which isn't bad, but I was at 250 still at that point. And then I saw small, like I would fluctuate 5 or 10 pounds up and down, but never like totally down. So this is just, again, a story of, man, like nothing I'm doing is right. Like, how can I possibly, at this point, I can't even eat more than a fistful of food. So I'm not overeating. I'm trying to make the right choices when I'm eating. And I think it was that final like kick of, okay, you're always going to be large. Now, how do I once again figure out how to love myself? And I didn't, and it just it was very, very frustrating. And to put that type of money, right? You financially invested in yourself. You knew this was going to be the thing, and then it's still not. And super confusing on what am I doing wrong, that it works for other people and not for me. I was at my annual checkup with my provider, and she was telling me the same thing I heard every year. You continue to stay at this weight, you're gonna have health conditions, you're gonna end up being pre-diabetic, you've really gotta get it together, you're getting older, not younger. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, I remember crying in the office, like, what else do I do? Like, I don't know. I have a personal trainer. Like, I just don't know what the right thing is. And she mentioned Ozempic. It was name brand at the time. And she prescribed it. Unfortunately, insurance didn't cover it. But then maybe me, the all or nothing, I'm like, I'm going to research this. So I start researching the different types that there are, what a compounding pharmacy is, which ones are safe, how do I look for the right one, how do I find a good med spa. And so I finally, after about a couple months of research, found a med spa near my work. There I started on semaglutide. I started on semaglutide because it's cheaper, and I've got this lingering, I invested all this money into a gastric sleeve, it didn't work. I know tirzepatide by the studies works better, but if semaglutide could work, let's do this. Had to re-pump myself up that it is okay to invest in yourself. Yeah, this is a lot of money every week, but what if it works? Semaglutide for me didn't really work. I didn't have a lot of bad side effects either. I probably lost 10 pounds in the first 3 months, which I know isn't bad, but it was slower than I'd expected. Also happened to be going to a med spa that I always say it was like they were herding cows in there. There was no personalization. They didn't try to support you. They didn't care, just the weight. They looked at your weight, that was it. Do we want to up your dose? But you probably literally at 5 minutes in and out of the office. And it was just shot. Like there would be lines out the door, and they're like, and they administered shots then. They just gave you the shots. So I'm like, okay, two things. I think I want to switch, but I also don't think this is the right place for me because I need somebody to talk to, who I am. I want to research. I want to understand what could I do different. So at that point I switched to a different, and then switched to tirzepatide. Tirzepatide, I almost want to cry when I think about it. Within a couple of weeks of being on it, things were changing in my body that I didn't even know. The biggest thing I would say is the food noise. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know what the saying was. I didn't know that this was something that medicine could do. I was just focused on the medicine's going to help me lose weight. All of a sudden, I wasn't thinking about food all day. I wasn't thinking about the good, the bad. I would have to remind myself it's time to eat. And now, because I'm in control and I'm not craving anything, I'm not thinking about what I'm missing out on if I eat right, thinking about what I should eat, I could make choices that were nutritious for me, but I could also, if I want a piece of pizza, I'll eat a piece of pizza. But then I'd be done after one piece, and I was okay with that. Like, my body would settle and I would move on. It was the most empowering thing, even before the weight started falling off, all of a sudden having control. So then I did more research to understand that it's just what the meds do, right? Like, they make the pieces of your brain work that weren't before. And so that realization that I wasn't broken, my body didn't know what to do with food because I was insulin resistant. And I know it doesn't work for everybody because they may not be insulin resistant, but for me, it feels like that 100 pounds fell off so quickly. Like, before I knew it, I don't know that I saw the changes in my body as much as I saw the number on the scale, because I stayed in the same baggy clothes. I'd been through this yo-yo so long in my life, I didn't want to buy new clothes. I didn't want to invest in, okay, I'm finally doing it. And then I'm like, oh damn, now I got to go pull back out my 20s and 22s out of the closet. And so for a while I stayed in the larger clothes, but my blood work, my lab works were amazing. I felt healthier, but more than anything, mentally, I finally felt empowered. I felt like I realized it wasn't me. And it's okay. And with that comes the realization I'm probably going to be on this the rest of my life. But I think even more than hitting, my original goal weight was only 175. And my biggest goal was to get under 200. So like in the larger community, we'd always be like Wonderland. Like, I just want to get to Wonderland. I haven't been in the ones for so long. If I can get to 199, and the fact that I didn't even do 199, and then 175 was there, and then 160 was there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is really happening. And now at this point, I'm so invested in myself. I'm like, I don't care how much this costs. Like, I will take this the rest of my life. So at my lowest, I did get down to 140, and I think it feels great to go from a 24 to an 8, right, to wear different clothes, but more than that, to walk by a mirror and actually double look, because I can't be me. like, is that me? Like seeing myself in pictures with my family. And it just, again, like the empowerment and just that being able to accept that it wasn't you all along. You just needed the right meds. And now you have to understand that. I think that's probably the hardest thing for people with insulin resistance, is you'd like to think I'll just get off of it when I lose the weight. But I did try to taper off and I gained like 15 pounds. I'm like, okay, this is, you knew anyways, like just get back on it. So I chose to, I'll be on it forever, and that's okay. Yeah. I was pre-diabetic prior to losing the weight, so my A1C was at the lowest 4.5 that it had ever been. My cholesterol levels were normal, just anything within my lab works itself, but more than anything, I think the energy and the clarity that I had, right? Like, I don't think I realized with all the extra weight that a lot of anxiety and stress is built by your body's busy trying to get healthy, and you're naturally not, and now it could focus. So absolutely, I think labs are great. It's great to have good medical, but for me, I think getting rid of that mental exhaustion and being able to be proud of myself. I didn't care. People would be like, oh, you cheated, you took a shot. I don't care what you think. Like, I also tried everything, right? Like, I'm like, if you were diabetic and needed insulin, you would take it, right? So if I need meds to make my insulin work, that's fine. You think what you need to think. So yeah, all the lab work, all of the health benefits that came from it were great. But I do think that the way that it was able to help me emotionally is more important than even that I could wear different size clothes, that I can not be disgusted every time I step on the scale or even concerned. And now I have confidence if it is up or down, I don't have that fear, it's going back up. It's not working anymore. I'm going, like everything I'd ever done, once the scale would start to go up, I wasn't able to differentiate between, you fluctuate normally, it's okay. Now I'm like, it's cool. Like, we can adjust my meds if that's what I need to do. Like, we'll give it a couple weeks, just see, it's okay. So that part is big for me. One thing I know that I feel like I'm treated better when I'm out in public, as jacked up as that is. Like, I can remember going to restaurants and sometimes you could tell the servers, like, oh, really, you're going to order a cheeseburger, right? Because here I am, a 300-pound person, and judgment and just even simple things, as sad as it is, the world we live in, people now hold doors open for me and stuff. I feel like, and part of that I will own can sometimes be your own portrayal, right? Like, you're seeing things from a different lens because you see yourself differently. But now being able to just feel like more confident when I'm out and okay in the body that I'm in. It's not perfect and I'm okay with that. And I think that it's helped me to be a better parent, right? Like, not because you couldn't when I was overweight, but I have 5 girls of my children. And so here's a woman that's not loving the body she's in, doesn't want to take pictures. So I'm not being a good example for my girls of taking pride no matter what you look like. Rather, I was doing the complete opposite, and so self-absorbed with my own unhappiness with myself, not realizing that I'm projecting to them. And I think that's the coolest to watch, how excited they were for me. Like, to just like, yes, they're all older in their 20s now, and so they're, yes, mama, look at you. They hype me up a little too much sometimes, but it's great to see that they see that and that they see mom went through that. And I hope that it gives them the courage as they go through life to keep trying, because they got to see mom also fail a million times and finally find that right thing. So I think one of the struggles I had early on was, I actually think that my face looked better, fuller. It just naturally had volume to it that I didn't even really realize at first. You're so excited about the scale, about the clothes that you can now wear. I'm no longer in plus size section. That you're not paying a whole lot of attention to the body. And I right away noticed, thankfully I'm at an age I stay covered up, the loose skin and the stomach and the legs where I was thicker. But the face, I just felt like I looked like that little droopy dog from the cartoon. Like, it just drooped so bad. And I don't know that I even recognized at first that it was due to the weight loss. I think I just thought it was, I'm aging too, and now I'm a little thinner, and so that's what it is. And so I'll be honest, at first I'd said I would never get any type of injections or tox. I'm like, I'm gonna age gracefully. And then I started noticing people that get services. I'm like, oh, they don't look weird. I think that was my biggest fear, is I didn't want to look fake. I wanted to still be me. And so I dabbled with tox, and I actually remember the first time I got tox, I said, well, that was cool, but I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna spend money on myself like that again. It's so silly. And then I was looking back at pictures from when I had the tox. I was like, oh, damn, you looked much better than Amber. And that was just some tox in the top. Like, maybe this is something I feel like I say all the time now, I'm going to invest in myself. My husband's probably tired of hearing it. It's an investment in me, okay? And so from there, I've had a couple consultations with Isabel, and I talked before about with the skin, my eye bags is what is one of the hardest for me to look at all the time. And then I have a great little turkey neck, so I wear turtlenecks to try to cover that all the time. And they talked about filler, but filler again scared me. I wasn't familiar with it. I didn't understand what it was. It's obviously not cheap. And so when I met with Haley and Nina, I kind of just threw my hands up. I was like, I don't know what I need. Like, I know that I don't like my under eye bags. I know that I don't like what I see, but I don't know what I need. And I just trusted them, and I'm so glad I did. I'm not gonna lie, the 2.5 hours I sat in that chair, I was nervous and I was afraid one of two things was gonna happen. And I told them from the beginning, either I was gonna look really weird and hate it, or I was gonna love it, and now I have to keep using this. I'm going to invest in myself again because I'm gonna have to keep up with it. I am really thankful that I trusted them. They knew what they were doing, and I wasn't sure how that was gonna turn out. I think more than anything, the realization, I didn't really look at myself that night in the mirror. I was sore, and I don't know, I think I was scared to see. But I remember getting up in the morning and brushing my teeth, and I was like, holy shit, it's still me, but it's me when I was younger. My oldest daughter, everybody says is my twin. It's always been confusing to me because she's absolutely gorgeous. And I know we have similarities, but like, that's not me. And I was like, I kind of do look like her now. I'm like, look at me. But not to the extreme of, oh, what happened to Amber? Like, I didn't lose 30 years overnight. I just now had firmness in places that I didn't even know. My eye bags are so much better than they were. Not perfection, but I'm so impressed because as they were putting filler in certain areas, I'm like, I don't think I need it there. Like, what are we doing? Like, the best would say my chin. When they're like, we're going to put, I'm like, what's wrong with my chin? I'm like, I've never had anything wrong with my chin. Like, why would you point my chin out? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually have structure to my face now. Wait, like that little bit you did here, now I see it. They knew what they were doing, and now I'm afraid I'm never going to stop. Like, I will say probably a little bit frustrating is the focus on protein. So especially in my age, like, I'm really cognizant of the muscle mass and making sure that I'm not losing too much muscle. So my biggest thing is honestly that I focus on the protein. That's my number one on a daily basis, water, protein. And then from there, I just naturally, again, I don't make great choices. I'm not perfect, but because I have control over my thoughts, I try to make the right choices on a day-to-day basis. And now I'm trying to incorporate strength training to help with, stop depending just on protein, to help with the muscle mass and start toning. I think that's the greatest thing about this. I don't have to think about it a lot now. It's not constantly, like, I don't plan my meals out. I don't have to be, like, I make sure I have protein wherever I'm going. But it's not that vicious cycle of where I was, okay, like, how many carbs did I have today? How many calories have I eaten today? It's just, okay, Amber, it's time to eat. And it feels seamless. I don't know what it is, like, with the right, but it's not hard. It's not no work. Other people I think would think, because it could be dangerous the other way. I can forget to eat, as crazy as that is. Like, I'm like, oh man, I haven't eaten all day, because you don't really have hunger. So you do still have to train yourself to pay attention, to make the right choices, to make sure that you're fueling your body. And that's something that I think is really important about going somewhere here like Apex, is that they're not just going to give you that shot to go home. They're going to give you that guidance of making sure that this is more than just taking a shot and going home and eating or not eating. You've got to actually give your body nutrition. I think the biggest is just that I feel like they're partners in it. And so since I've been here for a while, like, they've been through seeing the weight loss. I'm an advocate for telling anybody that will ask, and then being like, you should go down there and get on the shot. If everybody could get on the shot, I put them on it. But more than anything, it's just that access, right? So I have access to, even if it's not at the normal clinic I go to, like, all of you guys as providers and the aesthetics team is just the answer. I ask a lot of questions. When I sit here and talk about all the research that I've done, and they're patient with that, as well as then being able to guide me if I'm in for my regular checkup that may just be with the weight loss. I can again mention, like, hey, I don't really like the way this is sitting right now, and now they've got that advice to give me, or talk about sculpting for the neck. Like, having that access to the consulting on what else I can do as I want to continue the journey to improve the outside, as well as making sure that they're giving me the right guidance on what my titration should be, what extra I may need to do. So just having a partner. That's the way I look at them. It's not me. Like, you're not broken. Like, don't internalize failure and just keep trying. Like, the shop might not be for everybody, right? And also, if you can love what you're in, like, I just want to be an advocate for that. You don't have to have facial work done. You don't, but also if you want to, do it. Like, this is your body to enjoy, large, small, different, but don't give up. If one thing didn't work, that's my biggest, just don't give up. There's something out there. Make sure that you find what works for you, and it could be different for everybody, but something's going to work, because it did for me. Like, it took a long time, but it did. Again, just keep trying and try not to internalize the failures. And I don't know, I don't want to tell everybody to research, but research, look at different people. We're really fortunate that we live in a world now where you've got access to almost so much data and information and trying to figure out what's working for other people. But also, again, we've got to learn how to love who we are. I wish that I could have done that even in the larger size. I mean, I guess I may not have ended up being where I wanted, but at the same time, just trust processes and find a team to help you. We can't do this on our own. At the end of the day, that's the one thing I did learn. I think where I continued to fail, it was because I was depending on me to figure it out. I kept saying, Amber, like, you got to figure out what are you going to do to fix this? You're not fixing this. You suck. Like, and so realizing that there's people out there that can help guide you to where you need to be. For me, being an employee here gave me the advantage of getting to know a lot of the people and understanding how our programs work and getting to see it from like the back end. And honestly, it took me a little while to make the decision to leave where I was at and come here because I was familiar with those people. But as I started working closer, especially with having other consultations with Isabel, working with the different people that were coming to the aesthetics department, I realized that you guys really cared, right? I think that was a big deal for me, that everybody needs to make revenue. It's how companies stay in existence. But seeing from this end how they interact with patients, how they have conversations about what they want these programs to be, gave me just this great insight to see that they don't want to just bring in revenue. Yes, at the end of the day, but they want to see people feel better about themselves. And you guys are so good at hyping up, because Haley was really good at, like, you just let me, that watching interactions in which nobody ever said, this is messed up on you, you need it changed. It was, you are beautiful as you are. If we could naturally enhance something, what would it be? And I think they really meant it. It wasn't like, you got that genuineness from, if you don't want to do anything and you walk out of here, cool. But we also could help here. And so for me, I'm like, this just makes sense to be here with these people. And they're already part of my journey on my work everyday life. But they also are doing this because they're passionate about it. And it's hard to find at places, especially in a world where GLP is everywhere. And they just want to get numbers in the door. And I think here, you guys, where you're different, is that you do want to give that full everything, 360. We don't just have to help you lose weight. There's a bunch of different things that we can do, products, services, consultations.